So in codominance, that prefix co means that how many things are going to be dominant? 2. Everything's dominant. There is no recessive. Okay, so we're going to put both alleles are dominant. And if both alleles are dominant, which one's going to show up? Which trait's going to show up? The dominant or the recessive? Both are dominant. So both of them are going to show up. For an example, horses. Horses are, the color of a horse is codominant. The color of a dog's fur is codominant. So that's how dogs wind up with spots or patches. That's codominant. So we're going to say both show up. And I'll put in parentheses here like spots or patches. Some people are born with a patch of gray hair in their head. Their whole life, it's like a birthmark. They just have like one, like my friend was, he's got this stupid gray spot on the back of his hair that's been there since the day I met him. And he just can't wait to go gray so it blends in with the rest of his hair. But that's his birthmark, it's a patch of gray hair. Some differences with this. Don't write this down. Which one's dominant? The capital one. If two things are dominant, I have to have a better way to show it. I can't have a capital and a lowercase if both are dominant. So what am I going to have to do? What's one way to do it? How do you know which is which? Like in dogs, white hair is dominant and black hair is dominant. So how do I know which is which?
Put another capital next to one of them.
That's it. That's exactly what we're going to do. Right? So what we're going to do is, this is what I want you to write down. In dogs, fur is a codominant trait, which means both are codominant, which means we're going to have to use two different letters. So the first letter I'm going to use is to indicate what trait we're talking about. In this case, we're talking about fur. So I'm going to use a capital F because it's fur. White's dominant, so I'll use an FW for white fur. And black's dominant, so what am I going to use for the black fur? FB. Right? And I'll use it almost like a little exponent. So that's white fur, black fur. And I'm going to give you guys the parents. We're going to take one parent that's homozygous for white fur. So how would I write the second letter for that? It's homozygous for white fur. Almost. Another W. The second parent is homozygous for black fur. So what am I going to write for that fur? Okay. So those are my two parents. Now I'm going to do the same exact Punnett square, just using these letters. So I take my Punnett square, where one parent goes on top, one parent goes on the side. So I'll put FW, FW, FB, FB. It doesn't matter the order you put them in, FW, FB, but whatever you do, stick with that same order. So what's going to go in this box? FW, FB. It's heterozygous. It's got both traits. What's going to go in this box? FW, FB. What's going to go in this box? FW, FB. What's going to go in this box?
FWFD.
FW, FB. So now we have to do our genotypes. What will the possible outcomes for these puppies be?
4 girls and 1 boy.
That's the phenotype. What are the genotypes? The possible genotypes?
4 homozygous.
No. Not for what?
Oh, heterozygous.
4 heterozygous. 4 FWFBs. So 4 with a gene for white fur and a gene for black fur. And since it's codominant, what are they going to look like, Taylor?
4 black and 1 different.
4 black and white dogs. That's how you get, that's like mutts. If you look at a mutt, they're different colors all over the place. That's how you wind up, because it's a codominant gene.